Hello, everybody. It is April 14th, 2025, and this is the AI Biz Hour with Andy and John. And today there's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot's happening with Google and all kinds of various things. And we are sponsored by Virtual Synergy Inc., which which helps companies with virtual assistants, helps with scheduling, emailing, and other administrative duties. So please, I hope that you check them out. It's going to be in the purple pill. And I have the purple pill up. Yes, it looks like it is up. Thank goodness. Andy, how are you doing today? I could I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or let's see. I sent the invite, but of course it's probably not done properly. So we are still having these little technical issues in the beginning of the shows, and it's unfortunate, but that is how it goes. Yeah, we got Andy. You're on the co-host. How you doing, Andy? Are we having technical difficulties today? Can anybody hear me? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down if anyone can hear me?
About now. Hello, can everybody hear me now? What is my phone says you got the co-host Andy, but maybe that's not the case. You and the co-host, so I got to. This is funny. It's not sure how things are working out like that. But Andy, can you speak up on my phone?
Hey,
Co-host.
are you there, John? I can hear you.
I can
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
now. Yeah, I have you down as co-host.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I'm on as co-host now, so that's good. Cool. Okay, so we can do some things. All right. Looks like we're back working again, so that's a good thing. Can you hear me, John?
Yep. I don't know about you all, but the ground shook pretty darn good here a little bit ago. It was centered in San Diego. At first, I thought it was centered in Los Angeles. I was in actually Los Angeles during the 96, 94 North.
No, it's not an earthquake. It was just Coachella.
No, no, no. I was
I'm just
I was
messing. I'm messing with you.
I was in Los Angeles in the Northridge earthquake, and there was a line of destruction going from Northridge right to my building. The building next door to mine, 4 stories had fallen off. It was in the front page of the New York Times. But it was so interesting because I had friends of mine that were in the Fairfax district and other places that weren't very far away, and they said they felt nothing. But my place, it was red tagged. It was pretty brutal, and the shaking today. It was a good jolt, Before that Northridge earthquake, there was a few jolts like that a day ahead or two. And where I live in the Coachella Valley, that they call it the Desert Hot Springs because you have all these hot springs coming up, and it's right at the big fault line. What is it? The Andreas Fault goes right. It's about, I don't know, 5 miles down the street from me. And yeah, I could have waterfront property if we really get the big one, but this place will shake like I don't know if you, Andy, ever been in a sizable earthquake. It's kind of something when the ground shakes under your feet. Can somebody give me a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. He was on mute. I'm so sorry. I've got a little button that I put on my foot when I turn my mic on and off, and I forgot that I had to switch over to my phone, so I was on mute. But yeah, I've been in I've been in earthquakes when I was a kid in LA, and some earthquakes here up in the Sacramento area, and I've also been on vacation where we were around some volcanoes and some shaking happened there. But the craziest ones I ever felt were in Istanbul, Turkey. That place has it's essentially two rock faults right where Europe and Asia meet, and that place will shake kind of crazy. No idea. I had no idea when I went there that's what was going to happen, but I had some really crazy ones there.
Yeah, like the first time you feel that, it's a little like you don't expect the ground under your feet to shake. That's kind of a given. It's like, no, it's stable, does not move. That's how it's supposed to work. But when you get like a sizable one, it does kind of affect the psyche a little bit, because it's something that's just so outside of the bounds of expectation. And be it, people react in all different kinds of ways, so it's kind of it's a good gauge about the people, see people under stress, how they react, and everybody kind of starts paying attention to each other a little bit more. But did you notice, being from a different culture, that must have been kind of interesting, if you were people kind of like huddling together, talking?
No, no, they thought it. If you look it up, the earthquakes are so frequent and so often. It's really they don't care. They just keep going. They stop for a little bit, and then you just keep on walking. It's really kind of crazy. Well, that's what I experienced. I don't know if that's really true. Maybe I only had some mild ones, but mild to them. But yeah, nothing. It didn't phase them at all.
The North Ridge was what, 6.4, which is pretty significant. Anything above a 6 is really noticeable. I would not want to be in a 7 or 8. I mean, that'd be just too much. So enough of that. People aren't here to talk about the earthquakes, are they? Today I'd really hope to get some people. I see that GovBid Mike is here. Please grab the mic if you can. Star Killer. Yeah, Nicholas, you've been here quite a lot. Love to hear from you. I see Jeff's here, and Russ is here as well. And let everybody know, we have we have a Discord server that's run by Jason, who's doing great work. And for all the devs in the audience, it's going to be there's some testing to get into it, kind of make sure to find out people who they are, that they say they are, what your skill level is. And those that are new, there might be some mentoring or what have you, because we really believe that it's important that we build a community of devs at this time with AI. And right now, it's there, from people that I hear, it's kind of hard out there, in the sense to understand who's who with AI, where people can kind of show that they have skills but might not really understand exactly what they're doing, or that what they're it's important to find out who's who and what they're able to do. Any thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, I've seen crazy things in the job market. I did a bunch of career coaching and helping people get jobs for 10, 20 years. Independently, people have paid me to help them get jobs, and right now there's a massive pivot going on, right? The pivot is I, I I don't know. I just know that there's something going on, whether it's because of AI or as a result of the economy or the fear, whatever, but things are just different. When I figure it out, I'll let everybody know, but otherwise it's really interesting. And I don't know, John, have you seen the news the last couple days? GPT 4.1, the Blackwell architecture from NVIDIA. Did you see that? 1 trillion parameter AI models that use 25% less energy and operating cost. We're
I
So
mean, and to pivot that NVIDIA is going to build everything here in the United States. Yeah, I mean,
it's nuts.
I live in Southern California. I kind of follow the real estate market just because that's kind of where wealth is in this country right now. Lots of foreclosures. Every house is getting a price reduction. There's just a lot of changes, and I think the tables are getting switched around. I know people who had very secure situations, which maybe aren't so secure right now, and I think in the long run, there's going to be some more opportunities than there's going to be less. I'm just optimistic, so that's where I'm standing.
Uh, yeah, it makes sense, right? Who knows? Well, we're all in this together at this point, so we'll see what it actually turns into. But uh, fascinating. I mean,
Yeah,
anytime there's massive shifts, okay, humans, our brains naturally look for change. So when there are massive changes like the AI pivot that's actually happening, vibe coding and the ability, see, I don't know if I like the vibe coding word, but it's really more like you can just accelerate your wireframes and prototypes in a massive way. You can just make prototypes like today. It doesn't take a week or 2 or 6 weeks to make a prototype. You can do one today and just go, here, it works. Check it out. Let's see if it does what you want. Oh, it doesn't? Okay, tell me what you need. And just in that iterative kind of cycle of the business person and the AI, orchestrator, whatever we're going to call ourselves, uh, you can make stuff in a day. I mean, I was watching this weekend and last week when you and all the guys from AI Tutor and whatever, and they were just, they started a new thing, but man, just the rapid prototyping ability that we have in AI right now is like, I mean, I was going to say something that was like way politically incorrect and personally like not, but oh
say
my,
it.
well, it's kind of like it's like a little erotic that it's like so awesome that you can make stuff kind of really 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 cool and really fast. And I mean, holy mackerel, even me, right? I'm a coder from way back, right? Like VI, make files, compilers, way back, right? Command line coder. And this stuff you can do today by just clicking on, WinFarm, or clicking on N8N, or just, selecting Replit, and just saying, make one of these, do this. Oh, can you add this here? Oh yeah, make the button over here, put it on that, and it just does it. It is freaking cool. It is
The,
really cool.
the thing though, I think that's going to take a long time to figure out. I mean, we were both around during the internet boom when there was no internet, and then all of a sudden 2 years later there was internet, and no one's going to buy on the internet, and there was no Amazon, and Google didn't exist, and all this other stuff. Where is the value? Where is the long term value in terms of these things that you can create? Like, I was talking to someone and they said, well, I had this idea and I started building this. Next thing I know, it was already out by somebody else. Or, I mean,
Well, then that's I don't. But you know what? I don't think that's not the secret sauce. It's kind of like everybody can make a hamburger. Who puts the sauce on top, right? Okay. Well, what's happening is you can prototype a hamburger, the entire workflow of how to get all the details, all of the materials, all of the ingredients, create the workflow, and produce a whole entire model of a business in minutes, not in days or weeks or months. the
but
the secret is in the prototyping, not in the enterprise delivery. Enterprise delivery is still going to take some additional thinking and architecture work and design, but going from idea to prototype, that that is where you could that's the secret sauce right now.
but I mean, I've been making, um so anybody can make a business plan now really fast, quality. If you use Manus, you can make some insane business plan. But what's the value in that? I mean, the value is in execution. The value is in understanding how to run a business. The value is understanding how to acquire
Oh,
customers and keeping
okay, here.
them.
But okay,
I mean, because if you
I'll,
can't acquire customers and keep them, and you have a subscription service, then you really have nothing that has any value.
no, but here's what you can do, right? And we'll get to the hands in just a second. But what you can do is you can say, here is the basic parameters. Here's the box that I need this business to live in so that I can do an acquisition of it, or I can consider it for an acquisition. So think of it like being able to sort, instead of sorting 10 widgets to get the three with the best quality in the same amount of time, because you can do that yourself in a minute, right? We're talking about with these tools, instead of trying to get from the million to the 10 so you can pick the three, you can go immediately from the million to the three instantly without you having to do it. And that's one way that AI works, because it can self-organize data. The second way is you can say, I'm only looking for these set of parameters, or this kind of thing that matches this type of uh, this type of cohort, this type of group. So you can specialize, right? So in the software, right, we're talking about software world. In the software world, we define software to match a current business need. The current business need is defined in very wide parameters. When you narrow the parameters, you get to the point where it becomes inefficient to build prototypes and enterprise systems for a very narrow group of people. But AI can. And so AI can prototype something that's only for 30-year-old housewives that do yoga in Dallas, Texas. And it's different for the ladies in Houston, and different for the ladies in California, and different for the ladies in Ohio, and different for the ladies in New York. But it could be all the same back end, but that front end could be optimized specifically for that cohort of people, because that's what they want to see. This is where AI can go, oh, instead of a style sheet that switches from a browser to a phone, maybe we'll have a whole nother layer of metadata where it says, if you're Andy and you're in this demographic, show it this way. But if you're Andy's son and you're in this other demographic, show the same thing, but show it that way, with these colors and this input and in this order. Andy likes it in ABC, and my son likes it in 1, 2, 3. That's how this type of information is going to take software and make it hyper specialized. And everything around that, every marketing campaign can be, the email can be programmed specifically for John,
We'll we'll we'll
not
we'll,
John and
we'll
Andy. That's the kind of stuff I see.
we'll see how it plays out specifically. But there is there's lots of possibilities, but we still don't know how it's going to play out. I really want to hear from Russ, as well as Jason and Nicholas and Edward. Ross is here, so let's go with the hands first. Lloyd, and then Simon. And please, Gov Bid Mike, would love to hear from you. Want to hear what you're doing. How are things going with everything that you're doing? Because we're invested in your story. But Lloyd, please, you have your hand up.
I don't think that we're at the point of like making tools to sell with AI yet. But what I think the real advantage is making your own internal tools, to streamline your processes, to make things quicker, to make things less, to lower the cost. And so now you can offer things, a lot better, a lot easier. Like when it comes to improving your process. Everybody saw the new Canva? Like Canva made an announcement on Friday, and some of the things that they're even bringing to the table. So I don't think it's time, my opinion, is to enter the AI arms race, because we don't even know what it's going to be yet. And I think to enter to that, you really have to have more skin in the game than just sitting there and being able to just put a model to work. I think where it does make sense, if you're already selling something, if you're already in business, it can make the business that you currently run significantly smoother and a way more autonomous. So some of the software you was depending on, that didn't quite do everything you wanted to do, but did most of what you wanted to do. Now you can make your own custom version using AI that does everything you need to do, that's customized for your business or customized for your project, or even have customized version for each employee and things of that sort. That's something you can realistically do with AI now, that you don't have to worry about some type of issue trying to offer an enterprise or offer on mass scale. These are the type of things that you can do with it right now. We still have to see what it's going to end up being before we start trying to create a product for an end user utilizing AI.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I know Andy is as well. I think everybody who comes to our space is using AI at a pretty high level and is finding ways to improve their day-to-day lives, their businesses with it. Absolutely. Simon, how are you doing? And please tell us a little bit about yourself. It's always nice to understand who's talking and where your background comes from, and just so people can kind of put in context what you have to say.
Yeah, how's it going, John and Andy? You might know who I am, but I have a networking background, and I've only ever really used Visual Studio for robot parkour, if you will. And I'm curious because I have an Augment plugin going with Copilot on the right, and I pretty much have the output, but don't really know what to do with it in terms of an MVP. So it's maybe an offline question, but I hear a lot of the what's and not the whys in terms of how to vibe code. But if I have to, I will figure it out by myself. So
I don't know if I'm actually qualified to answer that. Jason might have a little more understanding of that. I'm a marketer. I'm not really a coder. I can code. I do have to. I code when I have to, and only because of necessity. That's not my background. But Jason, do you have anything to answer to that?
Not I. It's hard, right? Because I've been in it so long, so some of it comes natural. Because I think it's like if you just want a program to run and that's all you care about, then just like having it generate it in one file, put it in your IDE environment, which Visual Studio, and let it run. So like that's mission accomplished if you're trying to prove a point. But if you're going into like coding standards and you want to deploy it and so it scales, so you can do like load balancing, all that type of stuff, that's like a different depth that you probably don't need to worry about in the beginning, but eventually comes on. So I would just say get it running, get your example going, and then if you have an idea, you can prove it and just like break it down further. So it's just like peeling back the onion. Just like even when I have my developers work on stuff, sometimes I just tell them, just get me the Hello World version so we can prove the idea, and then we can figure out how to break into it. Because sometimes you get lost in the mix of trying to put all the overhead of the standards and just don't get it to work to begin with.
yeah, I mean, I get what you were saying. And so in the past, I would be flashing motors and running a motor spinner. So I'd run without me debugging the Python script. So I guess is that the step next? And from here, I'm going to use Neuronpedia to put up guardrails. But I think I'm putting up what you're putting down, and then I'll work on it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think and ChatGPT or any AI that you use that's popular is really good about knowing which language to pick. So I would say if it's AI oriented, Python's safe, but if it's something more specific in a different domain, I would ask it what the best, like most supported language is for it, and just make sure you don't get pigeonholed using a language that doesn't have a lot of good open source tools. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know much about coding, but I just know, like, I'm using it for proof of concept. So I'm making AI agents that can do certain things. I prove that they can do them. But when it comes to building something that I'm going to bring to the market and I'm going to have people use it and pay me on a regular basis, there's no way that I know enough coding to, number one, keep all the data safe, and number two, if there's a major malfunction, to fix it so people can consistently get what they pay for. So there's no way I'm going to bring something like that to market with just, building something on Bolt or something like that. I just don't feel that that's, you're really, I care that my customers get something that, I've got a reputation. I don't, I'd be curious to know how people are doing that are vibe coding and bringing it to market, and what is the long-term success rate. Because also the name of the game, if you have a subscription, is to retain customers and then upsell. And if you got something that's having trouble with what you originally are sending out there, the upsell is not going to be the easiest thing to pull off.
Can you see this is maybe an Andy question. Can you see a future for like a new role or contractor for AI code vibe checker, or just make sure everything's good with the security, Andy?
Yes, I think there's going to be a different view of a number of things. Think of it this way: hardly anybody is paid to program in Fortran. Hardly anybody is paid to program in assembler. Some people are, because Internet of Things and stuff at the low level. But more people are paid to be in C. More people are paid to write in C++. More people are paid to write in Python, web apps, Web3, all that stuff, right? And each one of those things increases in value because it's closer and closer to the humans. I think what's going to happen is, instead of that, there will be another layer added, which will be these LLM chat interfaces to a AGI, which really is just a local LLM to your own data lake. That type of results, turning that information into a user front end that is custom or narrowly niched into your business or to your cohort or your specialized group. And so then the back end will be extracting data and pulling large volumes of specialized data into a certain place. Think of, let's say, a dentist that only does cancer of the jaw and teeth. Okay, very narrow, very small, couple 100,000 people in the whole world have that problem. Not very many, very often. But for those specialists, getting that data somewhere, getting access to that somehow, whether subscription model or whatever, I think programming that kind of stuff and programming the very narrow niche data sets and responsiveness to the cohorts of how they want to see it, I think definitely there's going to be new development and new opportunities in that space. And then, of course, everywhere, security is going to be amplified by a factor of 10. I mean, we on this show, we've talked to the 11 Labs people. We've talked to all kinds of people who've done, industrial hardware, industrial stuff, the data centers, back end things. The access to that data, segmenting that data, protecting the information, and turning the temperature down to the point where you get consistent responses using the LLMs, and securing that, all of the pieces along that path, that is going to be huge. And it's not just the enterprise level huge. The enterprise level security is going to have to come to your house. So you are going to need it for yourself, your computer, your machines. You're going to need it for your family, for your kids, for your wife. They're going to have that layer of insulation, for lack of a better term. And I think that all of that is going to amplify the security piece. I can easily see with LLMs that usernames and password, that kind of paired credential set, as being the primary access or utilization token to go into and out of a system. I can see that going away and being replaced by something else. I can't tell what that thing is. But it's funny, we were talking about, I was talking with my son about Blade Runner. Remember the movie Blade Runner? Both of the movies have this scene where they have a human talking to a replicant, trying to figure out if they're synthetic or they're human. And they have this very weird test that only humans pass and everything else fails. But every time I watch the movie, I can't figure out how to pass the test myself. And I think that that kind of thing is what we're going to end up with somehow. And I think there's going to be a large amount of security and information, because if you take all of the information systems we have now, right? Your bank, you go to a browser, you type in your username and password, maybe they let you in, maybe they ping you to an authenticator, or they give you a text so you can put in a number so you have a multi-factor authentication. All of that's going to be with enough compute and enough speed that's irrelevant anymore. And with enough compute, enough speed, and enough access, we're going to have to come up with some other way to do that. I think I said last week, in person, person to person interaction is going to be the premium from now going forward. And that somehow that's going to have to take place and to be included. So to answer your question, yes, huge amount of work going to be available in security, a huge amount of changes in the dev team organizational stack. But I also think there's another role, an executive role, chief AI officer, chief information officer, chief artificial AI officer, something like that. I think there's going to be a whole nother C-suite office that's added to every major organization, because the data side will do things, hardware and infrastructure will be one thing, and this AI utilization tool will be a different one. And the reason I say that is because every big CEO or executive that I've listened to an interview on, they say the same thing. And here's what they say: Mark, we're adopting AI in our organization. We're having everybody take classes. Okay, cool. That's the same. Here's the part that's strange. Sales, instant adoption. Marketing, instant adoption. HR, instant adoption. Contracts, instant adoption. Legal, instant adoption. Engineering, resistance. Security guys, hardware guys, network guys, desktop guys, coding guys, the PMs, the analysts, all of those people are pushing back, which is of course where the opposite. What I thought all of us would be going, yeah, and instead, exec after exec after exec. I mean, Jamie Dimon said it. I mean, on and on and on and on. So yeah. Anyway, okay. Sorry, I'll get off the soapbox.
I just want to add to that. Yeah, my father's a physicist. He's been publishing papers on artificial intelligence for 20 years. He goes to this consciousness convention in Tucson, Arizona every 2 years with Deepak Chopra and all this other stuff. And he calls Chat GPT chapstick. You made it with chapstick, huh? That's bullshit. He's just, just whatever. Sorry I cursed, but he's just a little, you would think that he would be excited, but it's, finally, I took all of his published works and I organized them in Google Scholarly, and then I created an agent that went through and kind of took a look at his stuff, and then I sent him that output, and he's like, well, okay, I'll take a look at this. But that was a week or two ago. I haven't heard back from him, so it's funny.
Hey, John and Andy. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. I was eating, but thank you for inviting me up here. And yeah, Andy, you make some great points. There does seem like there is this shift where there's like the accelerators, folks that are just gung ho. They're riding the AI train, and the AI train is a bullet train, and it's going faster and faster and faster. And then there's the other folks that are like kind of there's a little bit of blowback. But hey, I did want to mention something. Mr. Vladimir is in the audience, and he is holding an AI coding training every day this morning, or in the morning at 7 a.m. And to get people into learning how AI works so that they can code their own websites and apps. And he's a very knowledgeable coder and developer, and he is also working on a separate project, which I'm not sure he'll share about, but which would be absolutely perfect for the AI Biz Hour. So highly recommend talking to him about what he's up to, and maybe he would be willing to share that as well. But anyway, the first session was this morning. He's got 4 more for the rest of the week, and then I just wanted to give him a shout out. Someone mentioned Canva recently, and they just rolled out um, their new AI tool. I haven't really explored it, but I do know that I was for on Canva really disappointed with its tooling for a while. And one site that I've been using for generating presentations and using AI, and it's very good. It's Gamma.app, and you can essentially it can ingest prompts, text prompts, files, or websites, and then from there it'll generate PowerPoint presentations using AI. It'll generate the images and the content. It'll also do the generate websites. So it's I highly recommend checking that out. Anyway, I use AI to do pretty much all aspects of my business, and I um, I'm using all sorts of different tools. I'm using it for government contracting, which is my main business focus. And if anybody has interest in doing business with the government, I'm the person you want to talk to. But beyond that, yeah, Andy and John are providing a valuable service and a discussion forum every day. And I had the pleasure of sitting down with and doing like a 2.5 hour interview with them recently, and the content is great and excellent. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, yeah. Vlad's awesome. So, oh, he's a co-host now. Woo! Um, yeah, let's go to Vlad. Tell us what's going on, and then we'll go to the hands. I mean, we've got
And
just a few minutes.
GovBid Mike, thank you so much for the kind words. Really appreciate it, and continue to come back here on a regular basis, because I'm just super interested about as you get closer to that portal that we all dream of, so we can all get the full access to all that's available. And any way that there's people in this room that can help, I know that there's a lot of people that are going to be interested as they start to understand the potential that's there. So sorry to interrupt, Vlad. Mr. Vladimir, I was going to be with Mr. Vladimir this morning, but I had to go to the DMV, but I'll be there tomorrow morning. Mr. Vladimir, please, the room is yours.
Hey, good to be here, and thank you for the shout out, Mike. I know Mike was there in the morning for our first space. What Mike was referring to is I'm doing a series of 1 hour spaces, which are now going to be live videos with spaces, because we tried the video spaces this morning, but they're still glitchy, and I want to give you a reliable experience. So tomorrow we'll do video plus space. But yeah, I'm taking people 5 hours, covering a bunch of stuff that are roadblocks for people getting into software development and AI software development and this and that. The idea is this is like I equate this to the rules of the road. It's kind of like learning how to drive. And then from there, you can drive yourself to all the cool different places, right? I can't drive you, but I can show you the rules of the road. So that's what we're doing every day, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. The other thing I'm working on is so you've seen me build all kinds of stuff in public. You've seen me build apps, get like 30, 40 people to use this and that, but then it disappears. And so the thinking I've had, and also, kind of, more the thinking I've had is, well, if you can do all this stuff, if I'm out there like, hey, you can launch an app and make $1 billion and blah, 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 well, why don't I do it myself? So that's what I'm doing now. I'm launching something called chatsetter.ai, and it's for people who are on social media who have a ton of DMs and they want to convert them into calendar bookings. It's very, very simple. We've been testing it on Instagram. Works great, closes between 5 and 20% of qualified leads, which is pretty crazy. And the idea being is, especially for coaches, you got a lot, you do your viral thing, you get people hyped up, and you do the message start, message course to get going. And so people do. And then from there, you got to do all this stuff. And so either you do it yourself, which is annoying and then hard, or you hire people, which is annoying and hard, or you get Chatsetter to do it, which is easy, and you get to go to bed and wake up with bookings. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm going to be pushing this for the next, this is the business basically that I'm starting. You've seen me do a lot of coaching and teaching and this and that, but now I want to show it, not like in a teacher sense, but in a how, to actually apply it. I see posts like, if I were to do a startup today, this is what I would do. But none of them go do a startup. So instead of would, I'm just going to do it. And if it fails, it fails. And if not, we're actively applying it and learning together. And trying to push the forefront of AI conversation, I guess. So yeah, awesome to be here.
Mr. Vladimir, I love that. How the company? I've got endless questions. I want to get on board. And so let us know how we those that are interested to try the tool. Is it beta, what have you? But how do you how do you make it so it is not considered spam? I'm always concerned when I send out my DMs and I'm going to get hit, because I hear a lot of story people that get hit. I guess you don't have to tell the secret sauce or whatever. But and then also I've heard Bill is not the thing to do. Some people have said that they just think that it's not the right way to do things. I don't know why they say that, but what are your thoughts on that? And it does take some Quavos to do that, because nobody likes to fail. And it's I don't think you will, but it's you're built a little differently than other people. So if you can address those two questions. I always throw in more than one question. Apologies.
No, it's great questions. I think if you don't like to fail, you don't like to learn. So on spam, there's an interview that came out a couple days ago with the CEO of Instagram, or I forget the lead, Masari, I forget the guy's last name, but he basically said, we encourage AI automation. There's an API that they openly do it. Instagram is not X. They have a different approach to things. X doesn't want you to do bot conversations. Instagram doesn't mind as long as you're all making money together. They are totally different oriented. And that's been the experience with our first customers as well, is they have hundreds to thousands of inbound DMs. There is no chance you can handle it. And what they're doing is they're hiring what are called chat setters. That's literally a position. That's basically somebody who sets appointments in calendars. And this takes time, and you have to manage them. And this is a process. So instead of you doing that and having to deal with people who don't cost as much, and therefore they don't speak English as well, potentially, they're not as good at it, or they cost more, and therefore you're not making as much money. Well, the best solution is you have chatsetter.ai, and you can sign up at chatsetter.ai. Literally just go there right now, sign up, and we'll onboard you and get going right away.
And if you need a real live human, you can go to our sponsor, Virtual Synergies, and hire someone for about $9 an hour from the Philippines. So if you need a real live human, you can do that as well.
And that's that's different, because we're not competing with virtual assistants. This is specifically for call booking. Virtual assistants can do a wide variety of awesome stuff. And it's not to replace, but to complement. This is specifically for chat setting, specifically for turning inbound leads into booked appointments. So it's really a really specific thing. Yeah, the VAs are great. I'm actually gonna be hiring a VA maybe today or tomorrow. So I'm gonna be looking at your sponsor there.
Please keep us up to date how that goes. We've had a couple people from the space using their service. So when we do we have set a goal at a certain period of time, and it'd be nice for us I want to know exactly how many leads we brought over there. So I'd love to hear about that. And Jason, and then we have Real Lucas. And also there's quite a few people that have the mic. Please don't be shy, and just if you have an idea, speak up. So Jason and then Real Lucas.
Yeah, so I had a comment about the kind of the new industry type of role where you take the AI generated code and make it like enterprise grade. So there's already a notion of that, so that I run into for in the startup space. So it's like these startups, they'll do it themselves and work on it and get it to a solution. It's online, people are using it, and then they get funded. But then the way they got there was they got the cheapest freelancers possible to build the solution. And when you look into it and they're want you to fix it or look at it, it's like you almost have to completely rewrite it or take it. You can't really save what's there because it's so spaghetti coded. And spaghetti code, I mean, it's just like you change one thing and then you break 10 others. So it's real brittle code. So I feel like that type of paradigm is already there and kind of like ready to just take the AI version of it. But and then Lloyd was talking originally about a little bit of the enterprise stuff. So there's three things that I've kind of started to go down a rabbit hole since last Thursday. So Yapper had talked about this term called MCP, and he didn't want to go into the technical part of it, but I will go into it just because I think it's good when you pick these platforms to think about it. So it is short for Model Context Protocol, and it is a way to represent an agent setup that you can universally deploy to different platforms. So you could essentially build, if you follow this protocol, you can build an agent, deploy it to Azure, and Zapier also has support for it. So you can make it a little bit more standardized and reproduce how to deploy it. So I think that's huge just so that we're not hitched to one platform. And two other things that kind of popped up in Google, I think yesterday or over the last couple of days, there's the Google, hang on, I've already forgotten. It's like agent space. And right now it's a beta that you can go sign up for, but you're able to spin up an AI model and work under the security kind of like behind the silos. So you're just communicating directly with your spun up model and it's not leaving the system. And Microsoft also has something that competes with it that lets you build agents, and it's called Azure AI Foundry. So both of these are behind their hosting kind of walls, and you can build AI stuff and not worry about your data going out to the wrong place. And I'm tying all this together because as a developer, I'm aware how much data moves between one platform to another, just because I realize how much behind the scenes all of that has to happen to get your responses back. And like from security perspective, when you start communicating things like your source code and IP, you're just risking unintentionally exposure to maybe a backdoor that you don't see that could come in and like attack it. So not that people are really out there looking for that, but it's just like the risk that's out there. So but anyway, I'm emptied out now. I'm kind of caught up. I had like 4 responses saved up there, so I'll drop the mic and then open it to comments or whatever.
Jason, can you just for a minute talk about the AI Biz Hour Discord server that you created, just in case there's any devs here in the room? Just want to get that out because we're building up something that I think is really interesting and important as things move along. Because yeah, I mean the vibe coding has not proven itself industry worthy at this point, and so devs are really important, and devs that know what they're doing are very important.
Yeah, link that, put that in the reply to the space with the Discord link and put it in the pill above.
Yep. So we started a Discord server. There is a group post. I'll pin it to the Jumbotron. But what we're trying to do is just kind of build a close knit developer community that we can share resources, or if we figure something out and we need help on something, that we can kind of build this stuff together. And as we learn, we kind of move in. We're wanting to build a vetted community so that people that, like business owners or investors or just people that are looking to build something, we have a vetted community that can connect to people that are we know and trust. Because right now the interview process for hiring developers is very complicated, because it's so easy to fake a resume and then you get an example problem, you can run it through code tools. So it's kind of a mess right now, and I can understand why the depth of interviews have increased so much, because you're trying to really weed out people. So we're trying to do that in a capacity in the Discord server. AIs and versus the people that are building on top of AIs. So I would classify myself more on top of AI, but as I get more into the vector database technology, I'll kind of move myself over into it. So kind of like just self-awareness for me too. So yeah.
This is a little off topic, but Mr. Vladimir, I used to work in robotics, and I was wondering what like principles you teach the kids, because I went back to my college and they seem to be way off course because they have a new robotics program. So I'm just curious.
Great question. And by the way, for those that don't know, I teach kids to build robots. We focus on age 4 to 9. So our goal is actually much more to get them excited than it is to teach them, let's say, hardcore science. What we focus on, honestly, it's almost like an arts and crafts approach. We focus on the fact that you can actually do things that work and that you can break things in the process, but also on a few fundamentals of what is electricity, like some basics of energy transfer. But again, when they're 4 to 9, trying to learn these things is actually counterproductive, in our opinion. What we want them to be is excited to do it. So when they go home and when they turn 10, 12, 15,
Yeah, I see. Like, you don't want to get them in Foxglove when, by the time they graduate or get a job, that's kind of irrelevant or something along those lines, But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of like basketball, so two things are important, and this actually ties into it's kind of vibe robot making, like vibe coding. Vibe coding is like street ball. It's a lot of fun. That's where you start. But if you start telling 5-year-olds to tuck their elbows in and they have no intention of going to the NBA, they're just going to quit. And even if they do want to go to the NBA, they still need to have fun at first to start enjoying the game, and then they get into it. That's our thought. There's many schools of thought. So we just want them to enjoy it and have the confidence that when things
That's so awesome, because like if you try to give a introductory class and you're spending a week on like theoretical fundamentals and stuff, like they're going to get so bored and hate the class. Versus if you start the class and go, okay, we have an ESP32. It's already programmed. We have this and this. You need to plug in the device to this. Oh, and you can turn this potentiometer. That's what this thing's called. And look, it makes the servo move. Oh, wow. Oh, we can put a funny face on the servo and have a little like hand to go up and down. And oh, we added 3 servos and 3 switches. Now you can control the head, the hand, and and you can continue with that. And like, oh, you want to add an LED? Let's do this. Let's press the button so you can press LED. Oh, now the next day, we're not going to even change the hardware at all. We're going to use some like Chat GPT or something to reprogram it. And when we press the button, we want to make a sequence where it makes the arm go from this position to that position, and or make a thing. Oh, we can make a recorder, so you can press the button, make the robot move, press the button again, and then the next time you press it, it makes the robot replay the actions. And little things like that where they get to very quickly see something moving and get to solve problems. And you don't even need to involve solder. You can like you could redo that. Or if you do want to make it more advanced, some kids like, oh, how do I solder? You show that kid how to solder, and that kid gets
You use
excited.
breadboards.
Yeah,
I
you
I
use.
need to learn how to solder. I have a soldering kit, never done it. So maybe you guys can help me because
You
there's
need some
lots of stuff I don't
breadboards,
know
and
how to
that's
do
it. You
either.
don't even need to solder.
No, the soldering's easy. You can find like a 10-minute YouTube video that teaches the basics, and really it's
No, I understand. I'm simply trying to point out that you don't have to know everything to be a host or a co-host. You can totally be a noob at some of these things and still be able to add value. That was my only point.
all right. Well, you may know this, but for anyone else who wants to solder, like you can buy a cheap little soldering gun, $15, $10. You can buy some solder that has flux inside of it. Just make sure it has flux inside, and you're probably good to go. Get a fan or do it outside so you're not huffing the fumes, and have the fan like bent out the window. And you heat up the contact until it's like, hot enough for the solder to flow. And that's pretty much it. There's a little smaller things, but you want to heat up the target and you touch the solder to it and it'll melt onto there. If you don't heat up the target enough, it'll be a cold weld and it won't work.
Make sure that you get the thing hot, and then I'll just grab onto it.
Have you ever
And
tried to
then-
take a MOSFET off of a board that's soldered from China? That's not fun
Here,
at all.
we're going off topic.
I'm sorry.
I'm a little bit of a stickler. Everybody's time is very important, and we want to keep this room on point. Otherwise, it just becomes a whatever, and I'm not into whatever.
All right.
So, moving forward, it's 12:57. Andy has to leave at 1:00. So, Andy, I'm going to give you the mic, and then please, what's going on?
Well, you know what? I love talking about the future, but what I love even more is watching what Ross is doing, what Vlad's doing, what you guys are all doing on Wednesdays and Saturdays with ITT and with the thing. If you don't know how to do anything with AI, you need to follow Ross and John, and then on Wednesdays you need to join the class, watch and sign up, and just move right along there. You will accelerate everything you're talking about. There is one thing. The last thing is, over the weekend there was a number of specific models that were released. A 3.0 mini Grok version, a 4.1 version for ChatGPT. Both of these models were highly trained and optimized. They're passing reasoning tests at an accelerated rate with a higher level of precision. The Blackwell GPU architecture just came out. NVIDIA made this big announcement. Supposedly, it's got 1 trillion parameters, and it uses 25. So an AI model with 1 trillion parameters. So right now we're running models that are basically 70 billion, between 1 billion and 70 billion parameters. That's what primarily most of the models are. This is a 1 trillion model, so it's 1,000 billions, right? So it's an order of magnitude bigger than the ones we're currently using, and it uses 25% operational cost and electricity. This is the arms race. Things are going faster, they're accelerating faster, and they're being made available to us, which of course makes me put on my tinfoil hat and think, okay, where's the really, really, really brand new stuff? Where's the one with the emotional empathy intelligence? Where's the one with all the other things that can look at you specifically and send me an algorithm differently than it sends to Vlad or to John? And where is that stuff? Is it hidden in the submarine, like in the latest Mission Impossible movie, or not? Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, it's fun to think about, and it's even more fun to watch you guys do all this cool stuff. So thank you so much for everything you guys do. Thanks for showing up. Hit the sponsor up, and make sure you follow John and do all the little button thingies, click and follow and turn on the alerts and all that. So thanks again for everybody. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Andy, and everybody. Please follow Andy and sign up to his newsletter. Also, going to do a little house cleaning here for a minute. and what I'm doing is I transcribe every one of our shows, and then I put it into one of my agents, and I create a newsletter. And so you get updated all the stuff that's being talked about today will be in the newsletter. Currently it is free. At some point it will not be. So I highly recommend you come over to my account today, right this minute as I speak, and sign up for the newsletter. And that way you'll get a rundown of everything that you heard and all of the various tools and all the cool stuff. And it will have links to everything, and it's really concise and done well, because I make some pretty good agents. And also I have the AI Biz Hour community. I recommend you join that and follow Jason as well as Mr. Vladimir and Edwin and Gov, all the speakers, Ross, because this is a community. This is really a networking community. It's much bigger than the space that you come to. So there's a lot going on outside of the community where people are basically, we want everybody to tell each other what's going on and what's happening, because the nice thing about X is with the voice you can start to build trust. So sports server as it is, and they matter in the scheme of things. And one thing, this is kind of archive of this happening now, and it's not happened ever before. It's maybe, if there's light hours,
Is it just me or is John's voice trash?
It's really busted. Sorry.
Yeah, it's breaking up. John, you should move somewhere if you can. There's something going on right now. We can't hear you very well. It's a little ruggy.
Yeah, John can't understand you at all.
The first half was great. It was the spaces really love to just, whenever something's good being said, that just nuke the audio quality.
Hey, I'll